Hi, my name is Mike Sheley, and although this channel is mostly about youth ministry, one of my hobbies and areas of interest is presentations. I love a good presentation, an Apple Keynote, a TED Talk, a live event where someone is sharing something and they're doing a great job, just killing it with the visuals that they're sharing. But I've also seen way more than my fair share of bad presentations. And so I'm going to have a lot of videos on this channel, specifically in this presentation tips playlist, to help people create better presentations. Not because I've mastered all of these, but because I'm learning these and using these, and I've gotten enough feedback about my own presentations to know that people know a good versus a bad presentation, and a good one is often too rare, but it can be so effective, and it really isn't that hard. And so if I can master it, you can master it. Whether you are a business professional, a teacher, a pastor, a student in school, if you got to give some kind of presentation, this can help you be more effective. And so I want to share some tips with you. Today's presentation is all about slide layout, how to set up your slides in your presentation. And so here's the deal. One of the things I think that gets overlooked is that when you create a presentation, there's usually some kind of a set of templates of slides to get you started, whether you're using Keynote or PowerPoint, Prezi, whatever presentation software you use. What's often not there is this. A blank slide. That should be the first slide you start with. If you know what you're going to say, a blank slide is a great canvas to add to. You can drop a chart in, you can add a map, you can add in whatever you want to this slide. But no matter what kind of slide you make, remember this rule of thumb, that every slide, if it's going to be really effective, should have one idea per slide. You communicate that with a photo, with a phrase, with both, but one idea per slide. I did a presentation once and people were super freaked out because of the number of slides I had for the amount of time I was speaking. And I told them, I said, just trust me, when it's all done, you'll see why I do it this way. And sure enough, when it was done, they said, oh, it makes more sense now. You have a lot of slides, but you go through them pretty quickly and you keep one idea per slide. Yeah, slides are free. Slides, you can have as many as you want. So don't fill up your slide with information. It's not a document. Make that a handout you give out afterwards. But your presentation should be simple and should add to what you're saying without distracting from it. So that being said, also, if you're going to do a slide, have a template that's black, white, high contrast, easy to read, with one word or one phrase. That can be your title. It can be a keyword you want to share. It can be a short phrase you want people to remember. And then if you want to go a little bit longer, you can have a phrase or a sentence instead of just a word or two. This is really important because trust me, people want to share a whole paragraph or a whole long quote. People can read faster with their eyes than you can say it with your mouth. So if you put a whole paragraph on the screen, they're done reading it with your eyes before you are with your mouth, and they're sitting back and kind of bored waiting for you to get on to the next thing. Whereas if you put up a key word or phrase from that paragraph, now you have them focused, paying attention to hear what you have to say, and then remembering that key word or phrase. And while we're talking about that, we often like to use quotes in our presentations. And so most presentation software have some kind of a template. Make sure you attribute it, like who is that quote from, and then have the quote up there. Try to keep it, again, same kind of thing, a word or a phrase, short and succinct. But there's one more way you can put text on a screen that I think will make the largest impact, and that's using photography. I've got a link in the video description for the Unsplash website where you can get a bunch of free photos and content on there. You can also go out and make some of these yourself. But think about it, I just put up a few slides that had words on a background, high contrast colors, easy to read, but not super memorable in and of themselves. Check out how different it is when you look at these. You see this, think before you speak, read before you think. Life is short on a calendar. Every day is a fresh start, a new page of paper and a notebook. A street sign that says, follow that dream. You're not lost, you're here, a street sign. A child looking up at a sign that says, believe in yourself. A whole wall that has a quote painted on it. A blurry focus word. A Sugar Ray Leonard quote about success and failure. And then some graffiti art that says, together we create. I guarantee you, even though none of those were the point of my presentation, some of those quotes, those visuals, you'll remember because of how creative they were. If you can find a way, maybe you don't have the greatest penmanship. That's why you use digital presentations. Have somebody write out a key word or a phrase. Find a unique way to put those words together that can be captured on screen in a memorable way. There's another thing when it comes to presentations, and that is the dreaded bullet points. This is not just my opinion. I've seen it over the years. If at all possible, don't use bullet points. Because if you've got 3 points on a screen, they probably could be 3 slides. But if you have to use bullet points, then limit it to 3 to 5 per slide. Any more than that, the text is small and hard to read, and you really are putting too much information on a screen. And then, like I'm demonstrating here today, when you do use your bullet points, animate them so that people focus on one at a time instead of skipping ahead of you. If you put up a slide with 6, 7, 8, 9 bullet points on it, I'm skimming them to see which ones I'm most interested in, and I'm not paying attention to you. Even this animation with 3 points had a built-in fader that after each point it would begin to fade to keep you focused on my current point. Bullet points can sometimes be a way to load too much information on a screen, but if you do them right and effectively, they really can add to your presentation. Remember, at the end of the day, the presenter is who is most important. People come to hear you. People watch your video because they want to know what you have to say. Your slides should add and support what you have to say and not distract from that. You should be able to walk in, and if the projector dies, the computer has a failure, something goes wrong, you can still give your basic presentation. Will it be as good? No, because a good presentation really does add a lot of value to what you have to say. But you should be able to give that content without the presentation. Then the presentation will come along and support that. At the end of the day, this is a new channel. You can help me out by giving me a like if this video is helpful for you. Leave a comment especially too. Are you a student? Is this going to help you out with school? Are you a pastor and this is going to help you out with your sermons? Maybe you're a youth pastor or a children's pastor and you'll think this through as you create presentations to share with students. Maybe you're someone who is using this in a different way, or you've got a tip that you think we should bring up and share. Add that in the comments. Maybe you have a question. I'm going to do several of these videos. You add a question in the comments and we'll use that to guide where we go next. Ultimately, when I get a really good resource, sometimes it's still by word of mouth. And so if this is really helpful for you, if you'll share this video with somebody else who could use some presentation tips, don't insult them, but everyone can be better at something, right? And so if they could improve their presentation, share this with them. And if you want to know about when more content comes out, then hit that subscribe button. Most of my content on this channel is going to be for youth pastors, but this whole playlist of presentation tips is going to be a key part that I'm going to continue to make that applies to a lot more people outside of youth ministry. Thanks for stopping by and checking this out. I hope it makes your presentations more effective. Hope that it makes you feel better about what you have to share and how you share it. And like I said, leave me a comment. Let me know what questions you have. Let me know what tips you have so we all can get better at communicating effectively. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.